In Deepwoken, damage buffs are pretty common, and many players like to stack them. Through starred weapons, mantras, talents, and even special food, most of the time you'll be doing extra damage. At first, I thought that all of these damage boosting talents had specific requirements, but I found one that works a little bit different. Before we start, check out my last video where I bring up the recent changes to everybody's favorite lightning cloak. In my opinion, it's pretty solid in combat, but lacks actual mobility. So watch that video and tell me your opinion. As always, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. What's up guys, it's Punchy, and today we're going to be looking at a talent that is very misleading. Okay, if you guys don't already think I'm crazy, you're about to question me right now. Today's talent inspection is going to be on the rare card Wyvern's Claw. This card is a rare card and it requires 15 strength and basically works on every single build. Its description reads, attacks made when not touching the ground deal 10% more damage. You're probably thinking, it's so simple, what is there to talk about? But there is. Notice how there was some interesting wording on this talent. It says attacks made when not touching the ground instead of attacks hit when not touching the ground. Does that mean if I do something in the air and land, it deals more damage? Well, I was confused, so I gave it a test. The most obvious application of this talent is through the aerial stab. Since these attacks only happen in the air, you'll be doing bonus damage whenever you click off the ground. But if you do a normal M1 in the air, there is no bonus damage on your attack. So this is a regular attack made when not touching the ground, just like the talent says, but it doesn't do any bonus damage. To me, it seems like Wyvern's Claw is way more specific and not just attacks in the air. One thing it does combine well is the Meteor Impact Flame talent. One mantra that makes use of this is Flame Charm's Rising Flame. A lot of people expect the entire mantra to activate Wyvern's Claw, but the initial bringing people into the air won't deal bonus damage if it's casted on the ground. The secondary hit does about 10% more damage since the attack was made in the air. And assuming this talent description is correct, all mantras cast off the ground deal extra damage. Again, this is not me confirming this, it's an assumption. Most Gale mantras that I assume get this buff are Rising Wind and Tornado Kick. Both of these mantras force the user into the air and multi-hit, so I assume the damage buff applies to both of them. For the mantra Tornado Kick, the damage buff does not apply on the first projectile, but the second and third one gain the airborne attack bonus. I think it's actually impossible to hit these mantras without leaving the ground, so I can't get too specific with damage values. I won't mention every single mantra, but if it follows the rule of an attack made in the air, you most likely can get 10% more damage. I really wanted to make this video about talent descriptions. In the past, there was a Thundercall tree that did not function and had all inaccurate descriptions. Wyvern's Claw is too vague with its description. This damage buff applies to all aerial stabs, meteor slams, and maybe mantras or bells that happen in the air, but it doesn't just buff any attack made in the air. For my last test, I tested with Grand Javelin. When throwing a Grand Javelin on the ground, it does about 9% damage, which is solid. And when he jumps and throws the Javelin, it does about 9% damage. As you can see, there's no change. This attack was made while the user was in the air with Wyvern's Claw, and I still take the same amount of damage. It doesn't really make sense to me, so I suggest that devs either fix this or change the description of Wyvern's Claw. Wyvern's Claw should say aerial stabs and meteor slams do plus 10% damage. It needs to be way more specific because the current description is not true. Right now, it says attacks made when not touching the ground. That is way too vague, and some of this stuff doesn't work. Either way, hopefully this is explained better because I think this talent could be really solid. Anyway, that's all I got for now, and make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one.